Hey guys, how's it going? I just figured I'd make this quick video on tip maintenance since the issue of buying extra tips came up on the forum. I think it was yesterday. Um, and I just wanted to show that every time a ding or a little burr comes on, let's in this instance is a C tip here, that you don't necessarily have to go and buy another tip. Now, if this was bent, then yeah, you'd have to go buy another tip. But if you get these little burrs here where it's smashed up against something metal, let's see if I can get that in focus. Is that gonna focus? Hold on. Let's see. There we go. Now this will just destroy your string right there. But I guess somebody who never tried it before might assume that if you file that down, it's going to mess with the balance of the top. But in reality, it may vary slightly, but I don't notice it if it is at all. Let's see here. Also, I've had the misfortune. Let's see if I can focus on that. There we go. It's not really showing up in the video, but this, the very point here has hit something. I don't know what. I threw it, boomeranged it, and it all of a sudden came back and boring a hole in my hand. And I don't know. I think it was I don't know what that hit exactly. It was something hard and metal, probably. Anyway, excuse me. What I like to use when I'm getting the burrs off of this, keep it from destroying the string here, is this very fine diamond file on my Leatherman. I find that makes it to where it's not rough, but it's not totally fine, but it's not totally rough either. It makes it to where it'll just enough that I can get by with it. Probably ought to invest in a new one, but anyway, that works pretty good for me. Now, what you want to do is you want to find the burr, which I filed this tip down a couple times, so right there's a burr. Let me see if I can focus on that. I don't know, it's not really showing. Yeah, right there. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but I can feel it with my fingernail. Right, where is it? Right. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? Hold on. Huh, where'd that thing go? Right there. Right where I got my fingernail, right there. There's a burr. So I'm just going to take my file and I'm going to go with this bevel here. I'm going to go with that bevel, just flat up against it, and see if that takes it out since it's so small. And just go very lightly with it, because you don't need a lot of pressure to do this. Let's see if I can find it. It's still there, but it's a heck of a lot less. This is just a small one, so it's doing relatively a small amount. I think that's got it. At least I think it's got it to where it's not going to be causing me a problem. Now there's a big one here somewhere that I was worried about over the weekend. Is that it? Yeah, here it is here. Let me see if I can get close up on that. No, okay. You can kind of see it. But it's a really, right there at the end of my fingernail. It's really, really abrasive right there. So the same deal. I'm gonna go on the same angle as this. I'm not gonna bevel it, secondary bevel it. I'm just gonna go straight across with it to begin with. And I'm gonna use this finger as a guide for my file here to keep it from coming back and doing any damage to this part right here. Because there's nothing wrong with this part right here. It hadn't hit anything or whatnot. So I'm just using that finger as a guide. We'll just check it out every once in a while. Still needs a little bit. I'm not doing this very roughly either. I'm just seeing where the roughness is with my fingernail, kind of judging it. That's pretty much got it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this bevel here, and I'm going to file it back down that way. I'm being careful not to, round off the point. Being careful to go with this bevel here. Again, using your finger here as a safety, I guess you'd say, for not going too far. See, now I'm starting to lose track of where it was. It's right there. Let me use this other finger to test it. It's still a bit rough. So now I'm going to go back on this one. You just got to feel it out, which bevel you need to work on. But you want to make it to where it's sort of balanced between the two, to where it's even all the way around. Oop. Okay, now I'm going to go very, very lightly. I'm going to go completely flat against this ridge here, but just very lightly, because I need to make the two sides of that valley, they're sharp, so I need to just kind of round her off just a little. And we're almost done with this. I'm just going to go back on this bevel here. Again, this is not a recipe, this is just showing you that this can be done. Get this back in focus. There we go. So you can see that I've kind of rounded this a little bit, which doesn't make any difference as long as you don't do anything too drastic. Or at least that I've found, anyway. So, again, this is where we're working on. I feel a little bit of a burr right there, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Again, we're doing this very lightly. You don't want to take off too much. We're just taking off just enough that we get this harsh surface off, because we don't want it eating up our string. Alright, that has that. So we fixed that part there. That was really eating on my string. I could actually see my string fraying because of that over the last couple days. So let me just have a quick look, make sure there's not... I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, that right there is where I fixed it before. You can kind of see it's kind of blunt as compared to like right there. That's where I fixed it before. That's where I haven't fixed it. So I'm just feeling around here with my fingernail. Make sure that there's not there's a little burr there, but it's not on the side that the string. Well, there's a little bit. Work on this just a little. And using the finger as a guide. There we go. Alright, so that takes care of the problem that I was having with this ridge here. Now there's another problem with this particular tip right now, and that is the actual point hits something, I don't know what, and you know, you might think that if you go to filing on this, you're going to destroy the balance of the top, but if you're very careful, you'll only blunt this a little bit. Now, you know, you can't do this forever and ever. You're eventually going to have to get a new tip, but this will at least give you the longest life out of your tip that you can possibly get. Now, when you're doing this, it's a little bit more precise than what you were doing with the little ridge there, because you've got to get this even. You can't just be filing around on one side, you'll get the thing out of whack. So what you gotta do is you gotta make sure you go around, like all of, hit the camera, hold on. There we go. You gotta go around, all the way around. Maybe turning this might be a good idea. The camera's kinda in the way right now, otherwise I'd be able to go all the way around. So what you want to do is, first, you want to feel around with your fingernail for the burr. Right there is the burr on mine. So you're going to want to file that with the bevel first. And then feel. And wait, you want to use a really fine file for this. You don't want to be using a coarse file on this at all. I don't actually have a file that's finer than this diamond file on the Leatherman, so that's why I'm using this. And okay, so that's got that. Now, as you can see, let me see if I can focus this. It's not really showing up, but this is flat a little bit. Flat. It's hit something, I think a tool lying on the floor or something, I don't know what. It's kind of flat, and there's also a bit of roughness there, abrasiveness, that it's kind of jagged there on the tip. So the way to solve this is to, well, I guess one way of solving this is to just be very careful and very carefully round this over. Very slightly, because you don't want to round over too much. You'll have a ton of friction, and then when you boomerang it and it's in your hand, you're going to have no time to set things up, right? So like I said, you want to go around, not just on one side. You just want to go like around very lightly, turning the top a little bit if you have to, if you can't get around the entire circumference there. Very lightly do that. Okay, it's still rough. It's a bit awkward to do this with the camera in front of me. But what you're doing is you're just taking off enough to take that burr off to where it's not hurting you anymore. You don't want to do any more than you have to, especially on this point. Sorry for not keeping this in the center of the frame. I'm actually watching over the camera what I'm doing. So I'm going to spin this real quick, and I'm going to see if I've taken off enough off that burr. Alright, I think I need to do just a little bit more here. I think I was feeling Just a little bit of a, sorry, doing just a little bit of a catchy place there. Causing a bit of a little bit of friction there on my hand. Alright, let me see here. Want to be careful, very lightly doing this. Alright, I'm going to test it one more time, but I think we've got it here. Yep, there we go. Alright, so we've got that figured out. It's no longer hurting my hand there. We've got this this ridge right here, nice and smooth now. I don't feel any burrs on there anymore. It's all nice and smooth. So yeah. Anyway, so there that goes to show you don't necessarily, although sometimes you do, but you don't necessarily have to buy a new tip every time you smash up your C-tip or whatever tip you're using. You can do this on the regular style tip. I don't know how efficient this would be on plastic. Never tried it on plastic. But with these C-tips, you know, you might as well keep them for as long as you can. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you got something out of this, and take care.